Source Consulting presents the Due Diligence Show. And now, from the Deal Room, please welcome your hosts, Andrew Baziski, Adam Jarks, and Luke Silcock.
Welcome back to the Deal Room. We are back with another great topic, and this one is Andrew's topic. Should we buy it or build it, Andrew?
I know, that's one of those perennial things that engineers always ponder, and engineers are great at building things, and it's being an engineer most of my life as well. It's one of those, surely we can just make this kind of questions, that you always feel.
Well, it's also a desire to make it, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah.
We want to make stuff. So look, the reason why this is such a tough decision is that the company, you have a team who has the capability to make something and they know how to do it. But the dilemma is, if you buy it from another company, this already exists. While if you build it, you have to actually make it. And does that actually meet the timeframes that your company needs to actually get something out to market? They've identified a need for something. Can the internal team deliver this according to the needs there? Another thing when you go internal versus buying from somewhere else is there's a lot more than just the coding to actually make something real. You need to have the marketing, the sales people involved in making it. You need to have the business plans, the product vision. All of this can likely be done internally, but are you going to get it done while this other organisation over here, they've done it?
Well, not only have they done it, Andrew, I'll build on that. I think what they've learned from having got past some validation steps, and let's imagine that they've achieved a certain amount of customer base. They've learned School of Hard Knocks. They've deployed their technology. They've configured it. They've made it work in their customer setting, and they've been delivering some value. Hopefully they've retained those customers and they've responded to them and evolved the product or matured the product, and the team has learned from that exercise. Also, there's a bit of a bias, right? So the engineering team, the R&D team, and it might be in your company, is thinking, we can do this.
Yeah.
Well, can they even-handedly compare options?
Yeah, true enough.
To find out all about the M&A services that the team at ThoughtSource offer, head over to our website at www.thoughtsourceconsulting.com.
Yeah, I think there are all sorts of angles to this. Another one is the fact that sometimes you're bringing on a certain talent and knowledge and experience in a certain area. I mean, although the existing engineering group could upskill, there's no doubt a lot of IP and knowledge that's been created within that new organisation.
Yeah, especially once you get into some of the more exotic technology domains.
Yeah.
There just is a lot of knowledge that there's only one way you're going to get it, and that's by doing it. And that's where the value of the external company can really make itself present.
Companies also want to get rid of a competitor. Sometimes that happens too. Sometimes they want to bring across a customer base that's perhaps already starting to use a product with a view of being able to cross-sell and upsell to that base in existing product set. So there's a bunch of different reasons that do go beyond the core build or buy sort of decision.
Exactly, and that's why this is such a holistic cross-company decision to actually which way you want to go.
Yep.
So you might be thinking, do I do a build or buy assessment before I go and acquire a company, or do I do it in the middle of diligence? And so there is no hard and fast answer on this one. When you're doing it in the middle of diligence, it's a bit tricky because you've already signed a letter of intent, and the kind of rules of engagement at that point are that you're making a bona fide offer to acquire the company. However, it is useful to know, and our clients sometimes ask us to run that parallel thinking process. If it's going to cost us, this amount, total cost of acquisition is going to include the amount we acquire for, plus when we accumulate our findings during diligence under the banner of a go to green plan, it adds up. It's a total cost of acquisition. How does this compare to a development track if we were to build it ourselves?
Yeah. And Luke, you touched on a bit about with the internal team deciding who's going to do what. This is where it's really important to have some distance between your internal teams and the possible acquisition company, because if the deal doesn't go ahead, You may have had your senior people working and learning confidential information from another company.
Contamination.
Yeah, exactly. Learning all of that confidential information. Then if they go back to their existing team, things can just get legally murky very, very, very quickly. So it's good that you've got that barrier between your team protecting them and also the other organisation protecting them if the deal doesn't work.
And typically we'll advise in that sort of instance that you're better to have certainly less involvement from those core people within an engineering organisation, because it is a problem, can be a problem, if you go and build something that you were just about to acquire.
Yeah. Another area to consider is just from an investor lens perspective, the build versus buy decision. If you build something, you're consuming, your R&D budget's gone up, but nothing visible as to why that's actually gone up. While if you go and purchase a company, you've got this nice visible everything that everybody in the market knows. They can see that you've actually gone and done this. So that's another thing to consider as well.
Great stuff, guys. You know what? Let's leave that one there. We have got a massive episode coming up next, and that is all about what happens during the software part of a technical due diligence. What's the secret stuff that you get up to, Andrew, that's going to be telling the truth from the PowerPoint and all that sort of thing. Looking forward to seeing you back here in the deal room real soon.
The Due Diligence Show is proudly created by the team at ThoughtSource Consulting, where we bring our years of deep experience in technology M&A transactions from around the world. To find out more about how we can help you, visit the website at www.thoughtsourceconsulting.com.